on how to document the important requirements, and this will be supported by case studies at the end. So the next slide here shows here today's agenda. It's an overview of the presentation. I will start with FDA GXP and Part 11 requirements. And then I will go step by step through 8 key FDA requirements and give recommendations for implementation. They include things like limited and authorized access to the system, to data, and to operational functions. FDA also puts a lot of emphasis on complete records, including raw data. They all should be recorded and archived and available for FDA inspection, so this is important. Electronic audit trail and its review plays a major role to defend data integrity. I think it's a key function of a computer system. And after that, I will then talk about backup and about validation of security and integrity-related functions. Finally, I will go through a typical FDA inspection process, and at the end I will have many examples for warning letters. Besides the listing the citations, I also will give you recommendations on how to respond to the FDA for 83 inspectional observations or to warning letters. I have so many examples here. I did not want to take them out. I have once I had them. So we may not go up to the very last end, but this is no problem, not a problem at all. I can stop at any time. And you can use the rest of it just for your own study or go with your colleagues. I think the information is very valuable. That's the reason I did leave them in, even knowing at this point in time that we will not be able to go over it. Okay, if you have any question, you can enter them in the Q&A section of this user interface here, and they will come right to my desk in writing. And if we have time at the end, we also will be able to open up the audio line where we can take verbal questions also. So there are plenty of opportunities. And if you have any question after the seminar, no problem at all. You also can send an email to compliance trainings, and they will forward the question to me. And I can promise, I can commit to answer all questions which you submit probably in the next 2 weeks or so, just to answer them by email, either directly or through compliance trainings. Now I go to slide number 3. And I think this is a very important one here. It shows a collection of reference material which is listed on a dedicated website, on a dedicated seminar website. And you see the web address here at the bottom of the slide here. And there is also, I also put a link in the chat box here on the left side. So if you want, you can just double click on it and that site will open up. And what you will see are a lot of things here. I have a couple of SOP, standard operating procedures, which help you to implement data integrity and security, especially of electronic records. Then I have an SOP which is called 21 CFR Part 11 Scope and Controls. And this is a very important one because I think during the middle of the presentation I will show you a very important and nice graphic on how to document the system for data integrity, for security, and so on. And this SOP is a standard operating procedure. Scope and controls illustrate the process very much into detail, step by step, with about 10 examples. Yes, it has 10 examples where you can go through and learn how it works and how to document data integrity on case studies. Okay, I also have an SOP on, it's called Electronic Audit Trail, Specification, Implementation, and Validation. Again, a very important one because, as I told you, you have the function of Electronic Audit Trail is very important, but to have it implemented right, to have it validated, to have it reviewed, and so on is also very important. And this goes very much with the same line in the next one, which is called even review of Electronic Audit Trail, which is a requirement of the FDA nowadays. We have a checklist, which is very much within the scope of this presentation, security and integrity of electronic data. And we have a couple of presentations from FDA personnel. addressing data integrity issues. For example, Edwin Rivera's, I will go a little bit more into detail, data integrity and fraud, another looming crisis, and this shows you very much into detail what the FDA is doing. Then we have 10 case studies on how to respond to inspectional observation related to Part 11, related to data integrity, data security issues, and I have many warning letters also on the website because this is so important to show them, and because they show what the FDA thought is about compliance, especially about Part 11 compliance. Okay, we go now to the compliance. This is presentation which I talked about. Yes, this is a presentation from Edwin Rivera, which he gave at an international GMP conference, which is going on every year. It's a joint organization. It's a joint event between the US FDA and the University of Athens. And so Edwin Rivera gave this presentation already back in 2007, and this was a very interesting time, I can tell you, very interesting, because this was a time, the first year or the second year, when FDA really did start to enforce Part 11 again, because they did find so many data manipulations and fraud related to electronic records, bringing out the specification into specification. So, for example, here, I mean, he brought up a couple of examples here. This one, biased manipulation of study data resulting in the acceptance of failed runs out of specification into specification. Intentional computer manipulations of chromatograms by cutting and pasting chromatographic data so that initial out-of-specification test results have been brought into specification. Look at this one. It goes on and on, altering weights of samples and standards. I mean, you notice that by changing the sample weight, this can have a direct impact on the final result in a QC laboratory, or changing chromatographic processing parameters. I mean, this will come to the question of peak reintegration. Manipulation of chromatography. I don't want to read them for you, but I mean, what you can learn here, FDA did find in the years 2005, 2006, a massive data manipulations, and that's the reason they started to enforce again and again, enforce Part 11, as they did before when they changed the scope and they changed the approach to it.